Unsolved, 1936, the case of 45-year-old Karl Johan Nilsson, who was found dead in the River Ouse at Newhaven. Karl Nilsson was found dead in the River Ouse on the 18th of September 1936. It was thought that he had been stabbed in the groin and had received other injuries and had then been pushed into the water after a dispute. When the police found him, they noted a dent on the right side of his skull, a wound to his groin, and a smaller wound to each knee. The pathologist said that his pelvis and skull were fractured and that he had probably been dead before he had entered the water. He said that the wound to his groin might have been caused before his death or soon afterwards. It was suggested that the wound to his groin might have been a stab wound. He was a Danish seaman and had been reported missing from his ship, the Veering, at Newhaven on the 30th of August 1936. He had been a fireman on the boat, which was at the time discharging timber at the North Quay in Newhaven on the day he went missing. Karl Nilsson's body was found 10 days later, a day after the Veering had left the port for Germany. He was found in a decomposed state in the River Ouse at Newhaven. He was found floating in the centre of the river towards Lewes, head downwards. He had a tattoo on his chest of a sailing vessel in full sail. He had been wearing a thin fireman's jacket under a navy blue jacket, sock suspenders and foreign-made boots, but his trousers were missing. Only 3 small coins were found on his body, and he had no papers whatever. The immigration authorities had informed the police that Karl Nilsson had been missing from his ship, and he was soon identified. It was heard that he had gone into town on the 30th of August 1936 and returned to his ship the worse for drink. It was said that he had then left the ship the following morning at 3:30 a.m. and that was the last that was seen of him. The doctor that examined his body said that he was certain that it was no ordinary case. He later re-examined the body with another doctor, saying that there was something that he didn't like about it, especially the wound in the groin, and advised the coroner to get more expert advice. He said that the wound was a clean-cut one and gave him the impression that he had been stabbed. A pathologist at the Royal Sussex County Hospital in Brighton, who later carried out a post-mortem, said that the wound in the right groin gaped widely open and was sufficiently deep to have severed a muscle. He said that there was a double fracture of the pelvis, which was broken in several places, and a severe fracture of the skull, and added that most of his ribs were also smashed, especially on the left side. The pathologist also said that his left forearm was also broken. He said that there was no natural disease to have caused death, and also no signs of drowning or poisoning. He said that the injuries were consistent with having been caused by some blunt force, or a great crushing force. He said that death occurred at once through the injuries and that Karl Nilsson had been to all practical purposes dead on entering the water. The pathologist noted that he had found red lead paint in the hip region of Karl Nilsson's body. In cross-examination, the pathologist said that with the exception of the skull fracture, his injuries had been caused before he had gone into the water. He also said that in view of the paint stains, it was possible that his body might have been crushed against the ship and the sea wall. The coroner said that they did not know how he got into the water, but said that it was possible that he might have been pushed in after a dispute with somebody. An open verdict of found killed was returned. Nothing more is known about how Karl Nilsson came to be in the water, or how he came to receive his injuries, and the mystery surrounding his death remains to this day.